Hey guys, welcome back to Innovate Salon Academy. I'm MA and I'm sitting here today with two amazing gentlemen in the barbering industry.
Hi, my name is Chris, owner of the Dons Barber Shop, co-owner of Blade Haven Barber Co. that's coming soon to Hillsborough, New Jersey, alumni of Innovate, and yeah.
I'm Mr. Mike. I'm a barber educator here at Innovate Salon Academy.
So, yeah, I mean, as a barbershop owner, it's been tough. You know, it's nothing easy, especially when a lot of barbershops have this certain stigma to, you know, what they used to be. My biggest thing is trying to stand out, trying to be different from everybody else. And it's been a struggle to be able to teach a lot of these newer barbers, this newer generation, to actually be themselves, focus on customer service, focus also on their craft, and being more versatile as barbers. You know, bringing in barbers from different barbershops, from different parts of the state, barbers who've actually traveled from many parts in the world to learn from a lot of big names has been my goal for a long time. And, you know, just keeping them busy, you know, keeping it a barbershop where it's, thankfully, you know, every week we're, you know, 85 to 95% booked out. You know, shout out to all the barbers at the Dons Barber Shop doing an amazing job. They're killing it. And I always say without them, you know, like the Dons wouldn't be where it's at. And, you know, being able to just follow, you know, my ideas, some work, some don't, but, you know, together as a team, we just kind of take it day by day. We learn from our mistakes, we grow from there, and then it's shown, you know, good results, you know, from when we first opened. You know, when I was doing the math, you know, it's 50, 60% booked to 85, 90, 95% booked, even with a brand new barber that we have that's only started maybe 3-4 months ago. Awesome. You know, and he's hitting numbers that he said he's never hit at any other barbershop before.
And what do you like attest, I guess, that success to?
I think to me it's just, I dive down this crazy rabbit hole when it comes down to just the barbershop. You know, I don't really focus too much on the good of other barbershops because to each their own. You know, I respect on how good they do. I just kind of focus on like what's not being done. And then what I also see is like now barbering is kind of, I think, taking a very European side, like with European flip to it. So I think to me it's just like being able to kind of bring that model out here. Where, you know, here, this old school barbershop, you know, it's always been like very community oriented, family oriented, and I kind of steered away from that for a while. And that's what I said, that's where the stigma comes from, of just vulgar music, vulgar language, you know, you'll get a haircut when I'm ready. And, you know, I just really wanted to change that. And, you know, it's really paid off, thankfully.
Awesome, I love to hear that. And you're about 90% Innovate alumni.
Yeah.
In your shop.
Yeah.
Awesome. Tell me about going from, I know like they brought in booth rental in the state of New Jersey. Tell me a little bit about that and how it's kind of like changed your barbershop.
So switching over to booth rental, it's kind of something I wanted to do, especially with the barbers, because my main goal and project for this barbershop wasn't to say, oh, I'm gonna become rich off of these guys. It's to be able to give them the opportunity to grow, to focus on their media, focus on social media, on video that they're making, you know, focus on themselves to keep growing, to become more versatile. So my main thing was just like, hey, you know, like as long as the shop kind of pays for itself, like I want this to kind of be that first step platform to be like, hey, I can grow. Like, let me try stuff that other places might not let me try, or like I'm limited to what I can do there.
All right, so Mr. Mike, I'm gonna have you take over a little bit. Can you kind of share how our barber program has grown? So like we're not like a typical barber school anymore. We definitely go above and beyond. So please let us know what you've been up to.
So I came from the barbering industry, and I also worked in the fashion industry for about 22 years. And I worked my way through college. I'm a third generation barber, in case anybody's wondering that. And I worked my way through college as a barber. I worked in the East Village of New York, and I went to NYU, where I was hired by Calvin Klein doing hair, working with, I was ultimately became the director of the men's production for Calvin Klein, which meant I worked with the advertising agencies and the designers, and they would throw a concept my way, and I had to figure out what the designers wanted, what they wanted to walk down a runway and what the advertising agencies were looking for and what would be sellable. I was much younger back then and it was a lot of fun. So my first assignment was a guy, Marky Mark. I don't know if anybody knows him.
Yes.
He was, Calvin Klein wanted to get underwear out in the world. And so the whole idea, they didn't know what to do, so I was part of that campaign and that really launched my career. So I spent 22 years at Calvin Klein, really understanding the industry. I got to travel the world and I see how everything's coming full circle again. So that European model is kind of taking over the United States, where you're not going into a shop for a fade anymore. Fades are almost fading away. It's all about shear work, styling, finish work, customer service, how loyal you are to your brand as a barber. You can't think of it like I'm a barber doing my thing anymore. You have to become a brand. So how does that all come back to Innovate and what it does? So when I first came to Innovate, the barber program to me felt like it was a takedown of a cosmetology program. And just kind of like, okay, we're going to include 2 weeks of hair cutting in this. So it almost like ripped my heart apart. I'm like, this isn't how it should be working. So what we did at Innovate is we created a barber school within a business within a business kind of thing. And the mindset's changed, the program has grown. Every day is hair cutting, every day is barbering, every day is some form of the barbershop. And now if you can see barbershops, they're doing color. They're doing
Lots of color.
Yeah, lots of color. And fantasy colors. Even they're like beyond grays.
Right.
They are now in the fantasy realm, so they're even at a next level. They're colorists. You know, so they're that fantasy colors, platinum hair, blue tips, red
Which is
tips.
awesome, especially because like we're a Pulp Riot school. It's like, so
Yes.
you're literally learning that foundation.
It literally goes hand in hand what we have to offer. It was just somebody bringing it all together for them, and just being specific to that barber school. It did change the dynamics of the school. It made us more relevant in the world and more challenging for the students, which they like. And we're also attracting all types of different students from different backgrounds and ages, which is nice.
Yes.
So there's all different mentalities set of who's coming in and what their expectations are. So it's beautiful to see. On our clinic floor, we created a barbershop environment for the barbers. So once they finish foundations, I roll with them onto the senior floor, and we actually are in a barbershop environment, which Chris was part of the first time we tried it. He came in and did Barber School Takeover with his whole team.
Wait, so tell me a little bit about Barber School Takeover.
Okay. So Barber School Takeover, I wanted a way so I didn't want to do any more of the traditional demos. You know, you sit there, watch me do this, and then hopefully you'll do it and I'll walk around. Nobody's really learning. So Barber School Takeover was a way to bring an entire group of talented folks in who were once in those same seats and the same shoes you were in. And we had live guests because we're constantly booked, because through social media, we're able to do all that, which is a whole nother conversation in itself. That's the business aspect of it. We were actually, so Barber School Takeover, the entire shop came in, the Dons Barber Shop, and they literally partnered with each student at a barber chair with live guests, walking them through each different type of cut, each type of hair, different textures, different styles, different age groups. It wasn't just pigeonholed into one.
Amazing.
And it was such a success, overwhelming. It was just overwhelming how amazing that turned out. So that's where I keep going, and that's the goal, is to keep growing that kind of idea, those kind of brands, those kind of projects that keep the kids relevant. And it makes them want to come back a few years later and be part of that with the next generation of barbers below them.
Absolutely. And it's so cool to like be able to impact people's lives, like how you're doing right now, and then essentially like bring that into the other academies as well. So
what you're going to notice is that people like us, we don't stop. So I don't clock out of work and I'm done for the day. I might clock out, but it's a constant. I'll have students calling me from the shops that they're interning in. Oh my God, I'm doing platinum hair. What do I do? And they're going live on their phone, FaceTime, and I'm walking them through the steps while they're with their client, from home or wherever I am, or at the shop cutting hair.
That's
so
amazing.
all that's going on, and it's a constant. So as far as an educator role, when you take on that role, you really have to partner with your student.
Mentorship is
Yeah.
everything.
You have
today.
to be their partner in this environment, not just somebody who comes in and gives them a lecture and leaves.
Right.
But you have to really let them know, I was in that chair, I was in those shoes, I was in that barbershop struggling. I had to have another job to support my barbering job that wasn't making money yet. I understand I was there. And you partner with them and you understand the struggle and you go through it with them. That is what an educator, we just elevate learning.
We're very blessed to have you.
Yeah, and bringing all kinds of industry professionals in, whether it's going to be business people who come in or a contractor says, this is what's going to cost you to build out a shop that's 2,000 square foot. The reality of it sets in. This is what it's, or bringing a realtor in and saying, these are different types of leases that you're going to be locked into. So based on this cost, how do you amortize the cost of your haircut? How do you figure all that out?
It's like real world learning.
Real world learning. Other schools just throw them out there and it's like, and they learn the hard way.
Yeah.
So I don't want them to have to go through that. I kind of protect my students.
I love that.
I don't want them to go through the struggle I did.
Yeah.
For me, I took a bus to cosmetology school. I didn't even have a car. I didn't have that. So I guess when you come from nothing, nothing really scares you.
That's right.
Is what it comes down to. When you literally come from nothing, I had nothing. Like when he said he went over to get French fries, like I understand that because that was real. Like that $4 for fries was a big deal.
Wait, you have to tell us. So tell me, he started in this industry.
So I started because I got tired of my mom cutting my hair. And
Real talk.
Yeah, real talk. So
We love you, Mom.
yeah, 14 years old, I was just like, hey, Ma, like I need a pair of clippers. So I went to Walmart. Walmart had a Paul Mitchell set, and they give you a CD and it pop it into the DVD player and it tells you step by step. I was like, yeah, I got this. I started cutting my brother's hairs and I was like, oh my God, I don't got this. But that's pretty much how I started. And then at, literally 15, like a couple weeks after my 15th birthday, I was, in a barbershop. Well, no, it was a hair salon. And I've only worked in hair salons up until maybe 6-7 years ago, around there. My biggest thing was in the hair salon, like that's where I learned my scissor work in the beginning. The guy who hired me, he was a family friend, did my mom's, my aunts, my grandmother, everybody. And he was like, okay, I need you to do a buzz cut #1 all the way around with scissors and a comb. And I looked at him, I was like, what? And he was like, and you're gonna do it on me. So I was like, oh man, like this is gonna be tough. So I did it, and he gave me points and tricks on how to do it. And he was like, if you can learn scissor work, the fading is gonna come in naturally. Like everybody can fade. And everybody can learn how to fade. He was like, with scissor work, now everybody can do it. No one has the patience, no one has the vision for it. So I was like, okay. And then from there, I just went from salon to salon to salon. Then I ended up in a barbershop, and then that's where I saw how things really were. Because I used to go to barbershops to get my haircuts, but that was it. I never hung out there. It was just get my haircuts, go back to the salon, finish cutting.
And when you came to Innovate, we didn't have a barber program.
No, it was a cosmetology program.
That's right. So you went through our Cosmo program. I remember that.
Yeah. And then to me, it was just, I liked it because I was already cutting hair at that time, like 6-7 years. So barbering, like I knew a lot. I was pretty deep into art. The Cosmo side is what I didn't know. And then that's what I learned a lot here. Color, face profile, kind of what goes with what doesn't go with what, and that to me, like that was set me aside from other barbers, because
Sure.
a lot of people were like, oh, I want this haircut, and like they show me, like a straight, mullet fringe and their hair's curlier and kinkier and curlier. I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna happen, So it's like but it's also taught me, becoming here is just being realistic with a lot of things. And then, once I was here, like I learned a lot, and then that's when I actually branched out into a barbershop. And my mindset when I was younger, I was like, I don't need to go to cosmetology school. Like I don't need a license. Like I'm just gonna cut hair for the rest of my life. And then when I was like, nah, I think I want to open up a shop one day. So that's why I was like, okay, let me take the leap and go.
How long after you graduated did you open up your shop?
First shop opened about 5 years later.
Awesome.
It would have been sooner. I had a little hiccup with a business partner that way. I was like, I wouldn't do that ever again. But I learned from, you learn from mistakes. But 5 years, and now August, we just hit 4 years. So it's,
Congratulations.
and
So
thank
exciting.
You. And it's been, an improvement every single year. You know, and now with this new shop opening up, like now I kind of know what mistakes not to make because I made a ton of them with the first shop. And then I'm just like, okay, like now I know how to avoid these and hopefully be able to build this up a little quicker than I did.
What kind of advice would you give to other students of Innovate that are looking to open up their own salon or shop?
Well, I think there's a lot to always learn and everything changes. You guys know, especially like opening schools in different towns, everything is different.
Totally different.
You know, one town might ask for something, another town doesn't. So that's my struggle right now with the new shop. This town is asking differently. But I think what Mr. Mike is doing as far as like bringing a realtor in, bringing people who, you know, will show you what lease contracts may look like and what you can kind of negotiate with, bringing people who kind of can give you a full startup. Those are like the main goals. It's like, yeah, it definitely is because if I would have known that, I think, you know, you're able to, one, budget yourself a lot better. And then you can prep yourself. Like a lot of my guys at the shop, like I'm prepping them because I know eventually at least 80% is gonna wanna own their own shop. So I'm like, okay, look, like build your business credit so then you can get a loan so you're not using your money and you pay it off, you know, all those tips and tricks that I didn't know. Like I opened up the Dons like literally with the last penny I had. And I was like, okay, well, you know, let's see what happens. But
that's how it works.
Yeah,
that's how it has to.
Yeah, and that's, you know, being able to listen to people like Mr. Mike, like him bringing these people in, like you got to pay close attention to it. It's not just about cutting hair and like I'll make it. You know, it's everything. Where as far as like realtors, finance, you know, being able to prep yourself. We're in an industry where, you know, we don't, unless you do it yourself, you know, you don't have a pension, you don't have a 401k, you know, you don't have a savings account unless you go physically and do it yourself. So it's just pretty much prepping yourself for the bigger picture, which is owning, and also prepping yourself for after you're done cutting hair. You know, if you don't prep yourself, then, you know, I mean, me, I have no problem. I'll be 90 years old, kind of behind it.
It's like Sean.
Chair. I love it. But there's people who's like, you know, like I want to own multiple and just be able to just kind of sit back and just watch them grow.
Right.
You know, you got to prep yourself for that too.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think we have to prepare them for real world, realistics. You can be great at cutting hair, but if you don't understand the business behind everything, you're not going to make an income from it.
Yeah.
You're just going to have a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to understand that, you know? And I tell them, the habits that they make in school are the habits you're going to have with them for the rest of their lives. So if you're constantly late and you're constantly not showing up, it's like, these are the habits you're going to make when you try to go out in the real world. I said, you're not going to have a good time sitting in a bank asking for an SBL, a small business loan. I'm like, which they're happy to give you if you have your act together. And this is how we're going to do this business plan. So even if it's not now, or even if it's not next year, in 5 years, in 10 years, you're always going to have this tool with you. And they're like, but we're still going to be in touch with you. I'm like, the sad part is it's probably true. They still will be in touch with me.
But it's also great.
Yeah.
Right, but they have to understand that this is all part of life,
Yeah.
of real life learning. It's fine to master cutting and to keep learning, but it's even more important to have those plans and have those goals. And they, like my students, they have to write down goals every week. Whatever it is. Your goal might be, I want Chinese food for lunch and make it to school on time tomorrow. Well, that's fine, but at least you're getting used to writing goals down. You know, and I told them, I showed them my workbook, and somebody's like, oh my God, it looks like your brain's in a lightning storm. I'm like, it is.
Welcome to the industry.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
because sometimes different ideas come at you at different times, and you just jot them down and you just start rolling with them. I'm like, that's our creative side. That's where that comes out, and your passion comes through that. I said, but then you have to like level down, and there's a business side to all this. How do I make sense of this now? How do I get out of this box and really start branching off and making an income out of it and having future plans from that? Okay, now that I'm making this one income, how do I make income coming from multi-areas?
Nobody gets rich off of one source of income. Remember that.
Nope. And yeah.
You want to have multiple income
Yeah, to
streams.
piggyback on that, it's also too like the customer service.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, you know, like they become very arrogant because they can do a sick fade or, you know, they style it very good, but it's building those relationships with those customers. You know, I think I mentioned it before, like I have a customer I used to butcher 19 years ago and they still come to me. You know, and it feels good because, you know, sometimes we'll talk, he's like, damn Chris, like I saw you were like literally like struggling to hold the clipper against my head and now you're just zooming in 30 minutes and I'm good to go. You know, so I think, you know, and people are willing later on to travel where you're going. I always tell the guys this in all of my shop meetings, all my in-house trainings. I tell them, I was like, they're not our customers, we're their barbers.
Yep.
You know, they choose us, we don't choose them.
And I say the same thing in my classroom. I was like, I'm your service provider while you're here. I'm like, if you don't like what I'm doing, you need to tell me, you know, because I'm your service provider. I never walk in and take that, you know, that cavalier attitude. Every day I touch that door, I'm like, God bless me to come in here and these kids are gonna listen to me talk. Like, that's a gift.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell them, I'm your service provider. You know, I'm here to take care of you. I'm here to just, and the same thing you're gonna do when you go to work. You become service provider.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I said, I'm your service provider, and I remind them of that all the time. I'm like, if we're gonna struggle through a haircut, we're gonna struggle through it together.
Right. We're gonna learn, we're gonna grow.
Right.
I love how like Innovate creates an environment where like we hear the students being like, hey, I'm looking for more of this in the barbering, you know, program. I'm looking for, you know, a more of a barbershop experience. And then like, you know, being able to turn that around and like
Do it.
freaking do it. Like,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm talking about. Like changing the industry for the better. That's
we
why
are
we got
changing
into this. So
The industry's changing. The shop world is changing. The men barbershop isn't a traditional fade anymore.
yeah.
You know, it's none of that anymore at all. It's about a vibe. It's about a customer service. I mean, things like cappuccinos and are being served in shops,
Yeah.
espressos and.
It's like a male salon, like men.
Yeah.
That's
stylists.
exactly what it's starting
Actually,
to
they're
be.
like
becoming
those,
envious. The traditional salon is becoming envious of the men's barbershop and what it's become.
Yeah.
You know, I think the barbering industry were more focused in. You know, and now we have our specialties coming out of that. Where before a guy would go to a salon to get his color first, go to a barbershop to get his hair cut, and now we're bringing that all in one place.
Yeah, like they would go somewhere to get their hair braided or
Yeah.
twisted and then come get like shaped up, and now it's all.
I think there's a barbershop in Jersey that does like manicures, pedicures, massages, haircuts,
Yeah.
all it,
Hammer
all
and
they
nail.
want. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I'm just like, wow, you know, like, and one-stop shop, you know, for a guy, just like there's like those one-stop shop salons, you know, so it's
Yeah, the
it's really
barbering
dope.
realm is definitely like evolving more like how the salon industry did a long time ago.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just coming up with just like a more artistic,
Yeah.
fun culture. Like the barbering culture, let's talk about that for a moment, because I feel like not many people really understand the barbering culture unless you're in this industry.
Yeah.
And
Teachers have a hard time trying to get in touch with barbers now. And it does. And I struggle with other educators too. I'm like, they have their own language, they have their own way of thinking, they have their own.
oh yeah, barbering is totally different from Cosmo.
Yeah.
Like totally different.
It's their own language, it's their own vibe. They're gonna act different, they're gonna talk a little different. I'm like, it's fine, it is what it is. You know, and we do. We have our own language, like we understand, you know, what we're saying, or and other people are like, what?
Yeah.
They just think
It's like our customers. We have a customer sitting in someone else's chair. They're like, oh, well, I get this, and that. And then they're like, okay, wait, hold on. Let me ask the barber real quick. And they're like, oh, you know, he gets a mid-fade, keep the C cup. They're like, okay, I know what you get.
I got you.
And it's totally different than what the customer says. It's like, yeah. So it's, the culture's, you know, like Mr. Mike said, like Hispana is different. It's this whole to me, it's like this whole European type of style, you know. It's, even if you think back in like the 70s, 80s, even 90s, like the shag cuts and the comb overs and the brush backs, like all that's coming back now. And, you know, 2000s were all about fades and long hair and stuff. So like, you know, even fashion, like you said, you know, like you went from baggy to skinny, back to baggy.
Yep.
You know, and I'm just like, you know, when you're older, you start seeing it. Like I tell these guys, I'm like, bro, I saw this 10 years ago. You know, and they're like, oh, I don't remember that. I was like, I do. You know,
Right.
you know, I know exactly how everything kind of does that 360,
It
kind of roll
evolves.
back around. Yeah.
And it just comes back, and it comes back better,
Yeah.
stronger.
Yeah.
It comes back with a more modern twist.
Yeah.
Like I get so excited about it because like now it's about the 70s.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them, like, you got to watch old movies. And I'm like, think Farrah Fawcett. And they're like, who's Farrah Fawcett? And I'm like, oh my God.
Flip it out, flip it out.
Yeah. I'm like, it's all about that hair now. And, you know, surfer cuts are coming back from the 70s. And huge surfer cut, you know, it's all scissor work and using feather razors. And really,
Yeah.
you know, fashion, and I'm like, start thinking like a designer behind the chair. You can't think like a barber. You know, people want to live a lifestyle, and you have to achieve that lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm like, have the image in your head, the guy getting out of his car, taking his sunglasses off and shaking his hair.
Right.
I'm like, have that image in your head, you're gonna be able to get to the end result.
And the techniques too, like
Yeah.
everything you said evolved. So it's like mullets were back in when I was in high school. Now they're back, but now there's this whole different technique on how to cut it, which looks a lot cleaner. Before it was just like, don't cut it, let it rock out.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like you can add texture, you know, you can thin it out, you can make it wider, you know, so it's, like you said, it comes back even better than what it was before.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, tell me a little bit about like how humbling it is, or like what's the feeling you get when you are like kind of in a full circle moment, like, right? Like you were in these classrooms, and then to like have, you know, to be so blessed to have your first barbershop, opening up your second barbershop, and then having the opportunity of coming back and mentoring students here. Like, what is that? What is that like for you?
For me, it's really very, very important for people to actually come back and give back. And this full circle moment, like when I was in Cosmo, we didn't have a lot of barbers come. It was very, very few. And when they did, you kind of saw like what was out there, especially me working at just only hair salons. But being able to come back and show them and guide them, it's just like giving them those tips and trade. It makes me feel great.
There's something in your soul.
Yeah,
I like
you know,
it.
it's just, especially when you're able.
It almost makes you cry.
Yeah,
Like-
because it's like you're able to like kind of just spit this knowledge, this experience, just like, hey, like, you know, once you leave these doors, like things are different, you know, and especially if you're gonna work for someone who's, you know, who's older, who's had their barbershop for a long time. There's certain expectations that, you know, and standards that they set. So if you're coming in and you know, you're just like, well, I'll just come in, cut hair, leave, and that's it. There's nowhere near like that. You know, so it's also be able to teach them like, hey, like this barbershop might do it this way, but this is how I do it. So there might be another barbershop that's doing the same way as me. So it's like, just learn from it, learn all the different varieties of different shops and how they roll and how they, you know, get down on their busy days. And, you know, to them, it'll come naturally once they kind of see and they're in those shoes.
So now at your shop, tell me a little bit about the culture there, and you do classes as well.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, tell us a little bit about like how many chairs you're going to be hiring for at your new location.
So right now the Dons were 9 chairs, fully booked, thank God.
It's amazing.
You know, so there we do in-house training once a month. It's literally 2 hours on the last Saturday of the month. And we kind of just go over different techniques, hairstyles. We went through, like, I was really like, once all the full scissors services started coming out, all different styles, Josh and I kind of just dove deep into like, hey, like we need to focus on techniques, or at least like the basic foundation of how to achieve a certain cut. And we went, I think it was like 6 months straight, you know. Yeah, it was once a week, but we dove deep into everything that came with, you know, from the terminology, the knowledge, what are you doing, why you're doing it, when do you apply it, how do you apply it, and where do you apply it? You know, like all that to me, it's just like all ties into that. We have shop meetings every month, and we just go over, you know, what we can do to better. I'm very like observant, like I just kind of stay quiet and watch the whole week or the whole month, and I'm just like, okay, hey, like we gotta avoid this, you know. And I think I'm more observant to the clients than to the barbers. You know, like I'm just like, oh, okay, if you come over and you start having a conversation with the barber and you see the client, like, oh, okay, you know, like, I'm just like, hey, we can't do that. Focus on the client. And with the new location, we're 6 chairs, we're looking to hire 4 people.
Awesome.
And it would pretty much be the same way how it is at the Dons, with classes, in-house training, classes that we host. We bring people from other barbershops and other parts of the state to come and showcase. We have one coming up, and it's a 2-day course. You know, so the guy, you know, he traveled different parts of the world, in Europe to Canada and everything, and he's gonna have a full breakdown on how he does everything. And I like to keep open mind. You know, like I tell him, I'm 19 years in, but a lot of these guys, the guy that's gonna come and demo a 2-day course is 3 years in, and I'm just like, and when I see the way he cuts, I'm like, wow. You know, like there's this opportunity to be able to learn through social media, through YouTube and everything, and which wasn't there before. Before it was like, you made that mistake, okay, I can't do that again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now with the tutorials and everything, it's amazing what this industry offers now to people for free.
For free, right?
Free.
Yeah.
And like with me, I reach out to all kinds of talent and I bring them in. And I think that's what's enriching the program for the students. And I tell them all the time, I learn from younger people different techniques that they pick up on or they introduce as a trend. Some is fascinating. Like you said, these people are 3 years in, some of them, I mean,
Right, our world travelers,
Yeah.
like doing big platform stuff.
yeah, you know, and
It's possible.
yeah. So bringing people in from the outside, like you said, and really showcasing everybody and sharing our knowledge and learning from each other is what's gonna make everybody grow.
Tell me about like the barber network that I feel like nobody really talks about. Like, yes, we have like this insane barber culture, but like, even though the barbering industry is so big, it really is small, and I feel like everybody kind of knows everybody.
Yeah, it's big and small at the same time. I think to me it was a lot of just bashing, a lot of like, oh, I'm better than you and everything like that before. You know, now I think it's like, now it's, well, at least what I try to focus on is like kind of bringing everybody
It's
together.
like collaborative.
You know, like
now.
collaborative, where like,
There's a lot of
you know, you have one guy from one shop who does cutting, one guy does color, and they kind of collab, do something together. That's dope to see, because at the end of the day, I'm like, for as many barbers as there is, say, in this state, there's probably like 100 times more people. So there's plenty of people for everybody at the end of the day. You know, for us to be beefing over customers, beefing over territory.
It's definitely, people think like this market is saturated, but it is not.
It's not.
It is
I
not.
don't even we haven't even scratched the surface of where we can go with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's crazy how like we just know other barbers, no matter how far. They're like, oh yeah, that guy's from Ewing. And it's like, I've never seen her in my life, but I just know where he works at, who he is, and everything like that. So it's pretty dope. Yeah.
I love that. So tell me, I guess, like, tell me about like being a dad and owning, you know, multiple locations now, and just kind of like tell me about, I guess, like how home and business kind of mesh.
It's tough. I always tell everybody who's a barber, is like, if you don't find someone who understands your lifestyle and your type of work, it's never gonna work out. You know, my girl, like, she sacrificed a lot of her to be able to accommodate with, you know, with my lifestyle, my business and everything. And you know, it's tough. My son, who'll be 5 next month, you know, he's autistic. So there was a lot of times where I had to take off and be there for services with my wife and everything and do everything. So it's been tough, you know, but I think once you kind of get a clear understanding and communication at home and communication at the shop, a lot of my guys are just like, bro, go home. Like, stop working so much. Like, go spend time with your family. But it's just like all I know, you know. And then at my home, my girl's like, oh, you got to, you know, after hours or someone wants to cut, go cut 'em. You know, so it's good to kind of find that balance and
Like have that support.
yeah, have that support as well. You know, where it's like, you know, there's days where I'm just like, yeah, like I'm not gonna go. Like I need to stay home, or I'm not gonna, you know, like I need to hurry up and just handle this at home so I can just spend more time over there. But I mean, well, again, once you have those people behind you and like who understand you, who are willing to also help you balance all that out, it's a piece of cake. It takes a while, you know, but eventually, you know, it kind of all falls into place and there's like a lot of understanding.
Shout out to Chris's wife.
Yeah.
What else? I guess, what knowledge do you want to drop before we wrap this up? Like, what do you want people to know about you? What do you want people to, or like the younger generation to kind of like focus on?
So I guess to me, it's just really focus on just being yourself, creating that brand like Mr. Mike said. I think that's a very, very big thing in this industry. Building that customer service, building the versatility as a barber, being able to just do any type of haircut that you can, and staying humble. I always tell everybody, stay humble and hungry. You know, always want more, you know, and just always know like you haven't really hit your peak yet. You know, just there's always a next level to reach. And I think once you kind of just play all those cards and you have them there, like you'll be able to see like, hey, like everything just kind of falling into place for me. And I think what you guys are doing here and Mr. Mike is trying to bring and how things have upgraded, I think from my time here at Innovate, it's amazing. I think what all the students here are getting is it's things that I don't think any other barber school or cosmet school are actually getting. You know, like you said, real world, real life obstacles and struggles that you may face. And, you know, the thing is just, hey, you know, like, at the end of the day, these people are here and to teach. And especially Mr. Mike's Hollywood background, you know, like, you know, he has a lot to offer. So I would say, you know, just because we're old doesn't mean we're old, we're wiser.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey.
So,
That's what I always say. We're just
you know,
wiser.
we're just wiser.
And our focus is a little more crystal clear.
Yeah. So it's just like, you know, it's like we kind of lived through it. And it's like I tell the guys, like, I lived through those bad moments in barbering. Or like those moments where it's just like, do I just need to find a regular job? So just stick to it. It's going to be hard at times, but, you know, with dedication, hard work, and humbleness, you'll reap the rewards at the end.
It's definitely worth it. Yeah, this industry is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, definitely is.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for being
No
here today,
problem.
dude.
Thank you, guys.